Where are you from?
I'm originally from Dublin, but I live in Oxford.
OK, and what do you do in Oxford?
I'm a scientist at the university.
Or maybe it's our new mysterious chaser. Who could that be? Some sort of step up, I've got to say.
It's much nicer up here. The seats are more comfy.
Is it? Right. OK, fair enough. The Dublin Dynamo. All the way from the Emerald Isle, it's Darragh Ennis. D. Ennis, the Menace.
Hi, Darragh.
How's it going?
All good. Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too. How's things? Oh.
Not too bad. Early start this morning.
Always. I've got small children, so.
Oh, that's a given then. So, first question is, how are you, Darragh? How are you coping?
Yeah, not too bad. It's only been a week since all this broke, and it's just been the weirdest, maddest week of my entire life. I've just had so many, people contacting me and like doing things like, meeting my neighbors in the street, and they all want to talk to me. And, I'm not used to being the center of attention, and I've done quite a few sort of interviews and things to promote the show. Everybody's interested, but it's just weird that people actually want to know. That's the biggest thing I don't understand. Like I work on a quiz show. I knew it was popular, but the places all told me it would be like this, but I didn't really believe them, not in my heart, and now I realize it is. It's a bit mad.
Yeah, even when you were a contestant, you blew up all over Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, well, I was trending higher than Article 50, which is being debated in Parliament.
That must tell you something, yeah.
The future of the entire nation was at stake, and they were talking about a non-prime time.
And am I right in saying that your episode broke? I think it was the day before. It was 4.8 million views, and then your debut was 4.9 million views.
Yeah, and it's similar again today. I think Mark's episode yesterday has gone up even higher as well.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of hype around the show now.
Yeah, I think just the fact that I'm doing all these interviews and stuff, and it's picking up, and a lot of people are watching, and that's the UK figures. I would imagine the figures in Ireland are
skyrocketing.
Massive. Yeah, I'd say they're probably 2 or 3 times higher than usual.
From
the reaction I'm getting anyway.
Yeah, and of course you've got some bragging rights as well, because that 100% win rate.
Yeah, that's so this is I'm a scientist, and this is the serious problem with like small sample sizes. Is an N of 2 is useless, but yeah, I'm doing this to wind mostly Mark up, because Mark keeps the statistics, and he's like, he always has like a spreadsheet with percentage wins and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so, I'm just doing it to poke fun of him, really.
I saw your tweet at Anne as well. You knocked her off her perch.
Yeah, so she was top. So Anne has had an absolutely astonishing year on the show. She's winning more than 4 out of 5 in the last few months, and it's just amazing. So she's really just, and most of the time it's not even close. She's really doing very well at the moment. She's having a great run of form.
Yeah, and speaking about the show, are you ready for your character builder round?
Yeah, go on.
So these are going to be super simple, quick fire questions, just to see how much can we get to know you in 1 minute. So
okay.
Are you ready, Darragh?
Yeah.
Okay, and your time starts now. So what's your name?
Darragh Ennis.
And what's your age?
I'm 40.
What's your favourite colour?
I'm a grown man, so I don't have a favourite colour.
Your favourite food?
Mexican. I love Mexican.
What's your day job?
I'm a scientist.
What's your chaser nickname?
The Menace.
Ooh. Who's your favourite chaser?
Yeah, me.
Dream holiday location?
New Zealand. I really want to go to New Zealand.
Oh, same boat. Biggest fear?
Heights. I'm a giant wimp up a ladder or anything like that.
Oh, same here. Most competitive chaser?
Oh, Mark, definitely.
Most intimidating chaser?
Probably also Mark, actually.
Who's funnier, Bradley Walsh or Paul Sinnott?
Oh, Paul is. Brad thinks he's funny, but he just recycles old jokes now. Brad's very funny, but Paul is super clever. I think he cracks me up.
And your favourite one-liner joke?
My nephew told me one the other day. So it's illegal to laugh loud in Hawaii, but you're allowed aloha.
And that's the end of that's the end of our character builder round. I think you've topped your 9k in the cash builder. So I think I really should have started by first saying congratulations on becoming a chaser.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a bit weird because I've been a chaser for 2 years now. I just haven't aired any episodes.
Really?
Yeah. So they approached me to audition like 4 years ago, something like that.
Keep-
3.5 years ago. Yeah, it's been a long time. And I was signed up to a contract with them 2 years ago, and I recorded my first show more than a year ago now.
So it was kind of like a sworn to secrecy thing.
Yeah, so there's always a delay. This is a thing that people don't get. A lot of the time they ask us, "Oh, that show you did last night," and you go, "I don't remember." There's always a delay, usually of about 4 to 6 months between filming and airing
Yeah.
stuff, because it gets edited and all that stuff, and it's a big long process afterwards. So my first show was meant to go out at the start of this year. It was meant to go out in February or March, something like that, but everything was delayed.
Yeah.
It probably would have been March if it was delayed. So I think it was due to go out in March, and just everything was delayed. All of the TV schedules got messed up. So it's 14 months since I recorded these shows.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's bananas, but it's just how it is this year. So, and then somebody leaked to the papers that it was me. So people who are on Twitter and who pay attention have known it's been me for 6 months.
Yeah. I suppose that kind of, I wouldn't say it's sad for you. It's kind of just disappointing because there's a wee bit of surprise factor taken away. But then
it would have. I think the surprise would have been a much bigger impact if literally no one knew. But
yeah, but well. And then you appeared as a contestant in 2017, racking up $9,000 in your cash builder, and you funded your back door successfully because you went on to win the episode.
So we didn't have a back door in the house, which was outrageous. It was freezing cold. So that was a big plus. I really needed that at the time.
So you funded your back door, but what was the transition like from contestant to chaser? Considering it took nearly 3.5 years, you said.
Yeah, so it's fairly soon after that show. So that was recorded in 2016, I think. It was quite a while ago. And then about a week or so, or a few days afterwards, I got contacted by the producers, which I originally thought was a joke that my friend I didn't believe them, but and they asked me to come in to audition. So the audition process was kind of weird. I went into their offices in London, met up with them. They asked me loads of quiz questions, did some camera tests, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there was at least one or two other people in contention for the job, so it wasn't just me. And we just had a very sort of spread out process where I came back again a few months after that, and then a few months again afterwards. And then they said, look, we'd like you to consider you for the job, but you're not really up to scratch on some subjects, so you wouldn't be very good on the show at the moment, which is true. Like I wasn't as good then as I am now because I work at it. Yeah. So I went away and I did a lot of study, and every month or so I'd go into London and they just assess where I am. They'd ask me loads of questions, and that's what it kept building up. And then once they felt I was at a good enough level and I'd worked my way up, we did a few screen tests in studio and just to see how I'd react being in the chair and all that kind of stuff. And then they signed me up. So, but it was a long process. It was like a couple of years at least. I can't remember exactly.
So it was a pretty quick turnaround from being on the show to contacting you.
Yeah. So I was contacted by the producers well before the show aired, like months before the show aired. So like people were saying, on Twitter and stuff, "Oh, you were great. You should be a new chaser." And it's like, I'm already working on that. Well, I didn't say that. Obviously, I wasn't allowed. But
sworn to secrecy. But and what's the life of a chaser like behind the scenes, off camera?
Well, for me, I have a full-time job as well, but the chase stuff that I do is part-time. So this is the same for all of us. We study, we work at this. So I'm on 3 different quiz teams. I read a lot of quiz books. Like I've got shelves full of random quiz books over there. Dead easy to find quiz books. They're everywhere. So I read them. I do quizzes. I watch quiz shows, and I try and just memorize lists, all this kind of stuff. So I work really hard so that I can get as much into my head as possible. And it's not necessarily always, you get asked exactly the same question. Sometimes you get a related fact. That kind of thing. And all of us do it in different ways. Sean sits in libraries and he likes to read books and stuff. Jenny loves watching quiz shows and doing quizzes. Paul was the British quiz champion. So he is an amazing quizzer, and himself and his husband work really hard at it. We all do different things in different ways, but we put in the hours. I do several hours every day.
That's crazy because some people might think you just are a brain box that sits in the chair straight away, and
Yeah,
they
no,
kind of take for granted.
I have a natural sort of talent for remembering stuff. Like
Yeah,
I can memorize things pretty easily, but I have to put the effort in, so I have to study. So I work really hard. But all my life, I have read books, and to be honest, before I was this busy, I used to read about 2 or 3 books a week.
yeah. So that kind
Yeah,
of played on it as well.
yeah, and you know, when I was a kid, my family were always being driven mad because I was always asking questions, you know, and you know,
Yeah.
my aunt my auntie Anne, who's like really we're very close with that bit of the family. We used to go on holidays together and stuff. And I was out in her house in Ballymun, and I drove her crazy because I was staying with her for a few days while my parents were in Cheltenham actually. And
Yeah.
I drove her so mad asking her tell me why that she bought an encyclopedia called Tell Me Why, an encyclopedia for children, and got it for me for my birthday. And that was when I was about 8, 9.
So from a very young age, always.
Yeah, always.
And you were speaking there, you work also as a neuroscientist in
Yeah, I
Oxford
do.
University. And
Yeah, so I work in the biochemistry department in University of Oxford. Yeah.
yeah, and having that on, well, not on the sides, but having the chaser part on the sides now as well. What's the balance like in those two jobs?
So the chase job I do the study stuff in my spare time, so I do that at night time.
Yeah.
And the other thing is a normal full-time job. You know, I work at it all the time. So
Yeah.
I work in the lab. I'm a lab manager. I teach students. I do research. We publish papers, write grants, all that stuff. You know, I've been at it quite a long time, so I'm past the point where I'm just working on my own project. I manage a lot of stuff, and I help my supervisor Alan. He's, you know, he's too busy to do everything. So all the
Yeah.
stuff that he can't manage to get around to is my job basically. But yeah, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, and I don't think you'll be going anywhere anytime soon because it's a dream
No.
job, you said?
Oh, it's amazing. I love my job, and you know, I love the people I work with. Both of my jobs, I think they're great.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky. Like a lot of people, you know, they get up on Monday morning and they're like, "Oh, I have to go to work."
Yeah.
I don't. I love my job.
Yeah, that's always a good thing because there's nothing worse than working a job you don't like.
Well, it would be very hard to complain. It's like, yeah, I'm a neuroscientist in one of the leading universities in the world in a very well-funded lab that does amazingly interesting research. And, you know, I'm now a minor TV personality on the highest rated daytime TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
ITV. I think if I was complaining, people might not have very much sympathy for me.
Exactly, yeah. And then I think this was quite funny. We were watching your debut last week, and I think it's the only time I've actively rooted for the chaser to win.
Yeah, I've been getting that quite a bit. That's nice. Like part of the show's appeal is that it's a family show, and it genuinely is a family show. They set the question so that kids can get some, and it's not like University Challenge or Only Connect where it's rock hard. You know, it's accessible and it's fun, but it's an entertainment show. This is the thing that a lot of people don't get. It's a quiz show second. It's an entertainment show first.
Yeah.
And part of that is that we, the chasers, are kind of the pantomime villains. You know, we're meant to be kind of grumpy and gruff. But when we were talking about this, the producers were fairly clear early on that I wouldn't make a very good meanie villain because I'm a giant child and I find it very hard to be mean. You know, I really do.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that my nickname is the Menace, I'm not much of a menace. And I'm just myself. So I think I'm going to be a bit more friendly than some of the others' personas. But we are meant to be the bad guys, so we have to be a little bit. And I think once the novelty wears off, people will start rooting for contestants again.
Yeah, it's kind of like the poker face.
Yeah. Oh, that was. I hope you'll notice, right? So my first show, I was delighted to be there, and I was just smiling.
You sat down and you went.
And I was like, "Yay, this is brilliant!" So the main feedback I got from like the producers was, "Okay, you need to work on your poker face."
You to be more scary.
So you'll see, well, just at least more blank, if not more scary.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of dead-eyed stare. So I am. So you'll notice as time goes on, I get better at that. So I'm less of a grinning idiot and trying to be a bit more professional.
It was pretty funny. It was like usually the chaser comes out and sits down like this or something. You came out and you're like, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, it was great. I'm genuinely super excited. I was to get on. I couldn't wait because it'd been a long time waiting for me, and I was really, really looking forward to it. A lot of people ask me, am I like nervous and I get stage fright? I don't. I get excited,
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, I'm kind of pumped a bit going to go on. So I'm bouncy and I'm really happy and I can't wait. But I'm not frightened. I don't care.
Yeah. That's a good thing though. And
Oh
speaking,
yeah, it's probably one of the main reasons why I was able to get the job, to be honest, because a
yeah,
lot of people are better at quizzing than me. A lot of people. I'm like I'm in these leagues and stuff I'm in, and in the like Irish rankings and stuff.
yeah,
I'm nowhere near the top, but a lot of people who are brilliant would just panic on camera.
yeah. And speaking of your nickname, the Menace, did you come up
Mhm.
with that yourself, or is it kind of like the
No,
producers give you a name?
the producers did. So I didn't know it until I walked on set. So when I was walking out for my first show, was the first time I heard it. When I walked across that bridge, when Brad said it, I didn't know what it was.
That's
It
sweet.
was
So how did you kind of react to that? Were you like, that's a good nickname, or
yeah, it's all right. They had suggested a few before, and they were either rubbish. They had suggested the Professor as one, but I didn't want to have that
I
working
heard
in
about
me.
that one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not great. And they had a few sort of random ones that they threw out. I can't even remember half of them now. And I said, look, once it's not the Professor and it's not something completely ridiculous, I don't really care. Just pick what you want. So they took me at my word and they just picked what they wanted.
well, yeah. I suppose it's um kind of like if you're working in the university and then you come on like, yeah, I'm the professor. Some people
Yeah.
might be a little bit
Well, some
peeved
people
by
work
it.
like people work for like 20 years to get that title, and if I just pick it up now, as it turns out, the one of the Chase USA guys has called himself the Professor, but that's Ken Jennings, and to be honest, he's
Well,
one of the greatest quizzers in the world. He's the
yeah.
champion of champions for Jeopardy, so he can call himself the Professor if he wants.
And whenever you first met the other chasers, were they as intimidating as they are on screen, or are they
Oh,
very
absolutely
friendly?
not, absolutely not. So all of them are wonderful. They have been nothing but welcoming to me. Like I can't express enough how nice they are and how helpful they've been.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, Paul invited me to his wedding, you know, and
Oh,
I barely knew him at that point. I'd only met him a handful of times. They were all in a WhatsApp group together. We communicate all the time. We help each other out. If you have a bad show and you get beaten and you're annoyed, they rally round and sort of,
yeah,
you know, help you out. You know, Jenny's been very helpful because she was the last one to join the show, and she's the only one to join it, I think, when it's got this huge. So she knew
yeah,
the media circus that was coming. She was able to help me prepare for that, especially social media stuff.
yeah,
The main media and stuff like this is fine, but it's like the average weirdo on the internet is can be a bit awful. And
yeah,
she had a really bad time of it actually when she started. So she got a lot of abuse. I luckily haven't. But yeah, so they've been really helpful. You know, Mark is really good at helping you identify where your weak spots are. So if I get a question wrong that, you know, I probably should have got right,
yeah.
if he's in the studio or if he's not, if he's watching the show, he'll send you a message pointing out the hint that was in the question that you missed, and giving you other examples. And
All right, yeah, yeah,
you know, and he also, because of the statistics thing, he's mad about statistics.
yeah,
And we send him, you know, all of the results from our shows and how long it took us to catch people or not catch people or many pushbacks. And he analyzes that. And, you know, he like, so at the start, you might notice I didn't get through too many questions in that first show. I was
yeah,
taking it very slowly. I was careful and did it. And that's fine when you've got time. But he said, you know, the average is this, and you want to be hitting this many questions for the full 2 minutes in the final
all right,
chase to
yeah,
give yourself a chance of getting a 20 if they set a 20. So, you know, he keeps track of the pace and how often you get them wrong. And he also does things like, you know, if you get one or two wrong in a row and it knocks your pace, he shows you that's what happens. So you have to start
yeah,
getting yourself better. Things like that. They're super helpful, really helpful. And like, Sean is not the Dark Destroyer. Sean is a diamond of a guy, really nice. So the first time I met him, big hug. He was like,
oh,
welcome, it's great to see you, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's really, it's a lovely group of people.
yeah. And that's good as well because you don't want to be coming in feeling like a contestant again.
Yeah, and it's not just a welcoming thing from them. Like the entire setup, they've managed to set up a system where it works really well. They have to film a lot of shows. They film 3
Yeah,
shows a day,
see,
and they've, you know, so it's a very quick turnaround. But it's like a machine. But everybody gets along.
yeah.
Everybody's friendly. There's no divas in the chase. It's
Oh,
just
that's good.
not
Yeah,
a thing. So, you know, there's nobody being mean to like the, you know, the new people or any of that kind of stuff. We're all super friendly. We all get along and laugh and joke in the background, and that feeds into the show because the contestants see that we're all getting along and it
yeah,
relaxes them. Then Brad comes out and Brad is not a prima donna. He goes over, he shakes, well, up until now, he shakes everybody by the hand.
Yeah.
But he's, you know, he says he never gets people to call him Mr. Walter, and it's Brad to everybody, you know, and the contestants as well.
Yeah.
And he's genuinely on their side, and that atmosphere makes the show what it is, you know. So it's really important, and it makes it a lovely place to work.
Because even more recently, and kind of in earlier series, Brad would just kind of do like, if this, or, but now he kind of talks more to the contestant. He's like, I think it might have been this, or let's see. So
So he's the center, the real center of the show. He's the real star. We're up there and we get a lot of the attention, but it's Brad that makes the show. He's amazing.
And I think it's kind of funny. You were talking about your final chase in your first episode.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed was sometimes you see Marco come on and he'll be flying through them at rocket pace. You kind of just were calm and collected. And you got to about 6 or 7. And I thought, oh, has he blown it? And then you just wiped the floor with them after that.
Yeah. So it's different approaches. So like I said, Mark likes to keep a pace. And the best thing about that is that you never know when the difficult question will come up. And if they get a pushback, suddenly it's like 2 or 3 further back than you would have been, and you might run out of time, and that happens. So I was consciously trained to like take it slow at the start and not fire through, because it's very easy to give the wrong answer. But Mark's been there since day one, so he's got a lot of experience, and he's able to see where the question is going most of the time, and he's able to jump in very quick, you know. So, and he knows the stock answers and all that kind of stuff. So he's very quick, and that's his gig. But like Sean is very slow. He takes it really close, and a lot of people accuse him of like fixing it, that it ends with like 3 or 4 seconds to go. That is no way. It's he likes to hear the whole question. He takes half a second and then he answers. And so like, you know, it really depends on the target though as well. This is another thing. If there's 20 on the board, you don't have the luxury of taking your time. If there's 16, so if there's 16, every question takes 2.5, 3 seconds to ask. So if there's 16, that extra 4 or 5 questions is an extra, including your answer, it's an extra 15, 20 seconds. So you can take that extra second on every question. People don't realize that. Setting a high target makes us rush, and that's what makes us lose. And
I think it's funny you were saying about Sean taking his time, because my granny's a big fan of the show, and she always watches Sean. He does this where he kind of looks up, and she goes, "Oh, is he looking at the answers up there?"
No. So that's actually that's a body language thing that everybody does, and they don't realize it. If you're trying to remember something, you look up and to the left or look up and to the right, because you're basically shutting off your eyes, the stimulus from your eyes to make the brain work. Sorry, I'm a neuroscientist, and so it lowers distractions in your brain and makes your brain work, and you don't think that you're doing it, but you do. So Sean always does that.
Well, there we go.
Not, it's just, he's very deliberate. You know, he's a barrister. This is his thing. Getting things right and getting things precise is his thing. So he's just being deliberate. That's all.
Well, there you go. You learn something new every day.
What would normally be useless knowledge, I now never call useless knowledge, because the amount of stuff that people think that comes up is amazing.
Exactly. And then, speaking of the other chasers, will we see you on Beat the Chasers in 2021?
You'll have to watch every episode and find out.
Oh, there we go. Sworn to secrecy.
I am not allowed to reveal certain things, and one of them is who is going to feature on what show. Okay,
we'll respect that. So before we finish up here, where can people find you, Darragh?
So you can find me on Twitter. So my handle is @BonesGiles. Don't ask, it's an old school nickname, and I'm not changing it now. Or if you search for Darragh Ennis, you'll find me. And if you want to contact me about my science stuff, you can find me on the lab website, which is ilandavis.com, and you can find my details there. But that's for science stuff, please, not for chase stuff.
And there we go. That's where you can find them. And thank you so much for your time, Darragh, unless you have anything else to add.
No problem at all. It was great talking to you.
Well, thank you for your time, and stay safe.
Cheers, Matt. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.